Alright guys, let's get going. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about GXWorks 3's logging configuration tool. As you'll see, I don't have my video that I normally have of my face in there. I've been having some issues with my video, but that's beside the point. So yes, I'll be talking about the logging configuration tool with you guys, and why we use it, how we use it. I'll show you how to set it up, and at the end of it I will actually run through a quick setup session with you. I'll show you guys how quick and easy it is to actually set up the whole video session, the whole logging session, sorry. Alright, okay, let's go. So a quick introduction. This is our agenda, the purpose of the logging configuration tool, the devices you'll actually need to set up the configuration, then the data collection condition, which is when you will actually collect the data, as it says, each scanning cycle, time specific condition. I'll explain further as we go along. The logging type, data logging states, then we'll look at a little scenario very similar to the one that I spoke about the other day. And then the actual solution. I'll run through the solution with you guys with the FX5U, GXWorks 3 logging configurator tool, and of course an SD card. Okay. Okay guys, if I don't get to your questions now, I will get to your questions at the end of the session. Okay, I'll do my best to keep up with you guys, but preferably I'll answer the questions at the end of the session, and I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. Okay. So let's have a look at the introduction. You'll use GXWorks 3 to set up this logging data. So as long as you've bought GXWorks 3, you will be able to set up this logging data without having to buy an extra package or an application for it. Okay, it's really quick and easy to set up. Okay, I'll show you guys later how to do that. It collects data at a specific interval or desired time and stores them as a binary file, a .bin file, on the SD memory card. But it can also save it on the device memory itself. Okay, I always like using the SD memory card, and it can use up to a 32 gigabit memory card, but that is the standard that the FX5 can use. It's not a specific standard all round at the end of the day. Okay, I'll explain to you later what I mean by that. Okay, so the purpose of this is to log application data directly to and from the PLC. Use this data as a backup for a SCADA or an HMI. So if you do have a SCADA or an HMI somewhere, and you lose comms to that SCADA, or your SCADA or HMI go offline, and you need that data, you can always use the data that's logged onto this as backup data at the end of the day. So you can analyze your application data to help fault find or improve the application. We have actually done that before. We were having problems on a certain plant. We found that the timing was a little bit out on the plant. And once we started using this, we could find where our timing issues were. And we were able to fix it. And we were able to get this to work properly for us at the end of the day. Okay. So guys, the devices that you can log. Okay, basically all the types of devices that you have. When they talk about devices, they're talking about the registers or the addresses on the PLC. Okay, so your bit devices that you can log, your X, Y, M, SM, L, and so forth. There are quite a lot of them over there. So you can also log your word devices, which are your D registers, your C registers, your T, which is your timer, and your SD, W, and so forth. You can pretty much log everything that's on the PLC. Okay, and of course a double word device, which is an LC, which is the current value. Okay. So I spoke earlier about the data collecting condition. This is when it will actually collect the data for you. This is the time, should I say, where it will collect the data for you. So each scanning cycle, so every time there's a scan through the PLC cycle, it will actually log this data for you onto the PLC, onto the logging configuration. Or you can do it under time specification, This is a specific time interval. Okay, so I think the shortest time that you can do it is 10 milliseconds. It can go up to once a minute, once an hour, once every 10 minutes, depending on your application, depending how quickly you want to log your data. And then specific conditions, that's when you meet a specific condition at the end of the processing. So that's normally if there's an M register on, for example. If you turn an M1 on, and only while that M1 register is on, only then do you want to collect data. It will only then collect data for you. Okay. So as I spoke about earlier, each scanning cycle, as you can see there, it will sample every time you have a scan. So at the beginning of every scan cycle, not at the end. So at the beginning of each scan cycle, it will log a sample for you. And it will then log that to the PLC then for you. Okay. Time specification. With the time specification here, we set it at 10 milliseconds. So every 10 milliseconds, it will save that sample for you into the PLC. So wherever it says sampling, that's where it will actually save it for you every 10 milliseconds. Okay. Condition. You have a specific value that is on. So your set value is not equal to your current value. It will not save any data or log any data to your PLC. But once that value is set to on, or if it's true, then it will start sampling that data for you and start saving it to your to your PLC. Okay. Okay, so now the following table describes methods of data collection. Okay, when they talk about data collection, they're talking about how it collects the data, how long it collects your data. So continuous logging, it will basically, as it says, log for a continuous time. So the whole time that the PLC is running, it will look to log your data for you. The trigger logging, it collects data at a specific interval or timing and extracts a specified number of data records before and after the satisfaction of a triggered condition. So that needs to be true. So when your triggered condition is true, so that would also, for example, be an M register. So when it is true inside, while that M register, for example, is on, it will only log in that time. Okay, so if you have a look back at this over here, it is different from the condition specification. If you have your trigger condition true and your condition specification true, and you have your trigger specification true, only then will it log the data for you. Okay. So some of the states that you have to have a look at. Stop, obviously that's when it's not collecting any data for you at the moment. Waiting run not collected, that's when your data collection has not yet begun, because the PLC is not in the run mode. Okay. Waiting your starts not collected, waiting start not collected. Data collection has not yet begun because it's waiting for the start command. Pause, that is when it's pretty much on pause, not being collected at the moment. Waiting to establish a connection, not collected, that's waiting for the first timing of the start command. So that's waiting for it to start up for the very, very first time. Collecting, that's continuous logging is active and it's basically collecting your data for you. And waiting trigger, collecting before trigger. Very funny words. Trigger logging is active and collecting data. Waiting until the next trigger condition is met. So collection after trigger, that's when your trigger log is active and collecting data after the trigger condition is met. So then your collection, when it's completed, your condition continuous logging, data collection has finished upon the number of files that it wants to save, and the stop has been configured in operation mode. So trigger logging has finished logging and much of the data specified the number of record. Error, that's when data logging error has failed due to the occurrence of an error. Okay. Alright, so that was a basic look at that. We're going to have a look at a quick scenario over here. We are monitoring a remote crusher plant on a mine, but there is no other means to monitor this plant. So in other words, there's no HMI installed, there's no SCADA installed to monitor this plant, which is not really ideal in a perfect world, but this does happen. So this plant's out in the middle of nowhere. There's no sort of GPRS connection so that we can take it back via a remote connection. So in other words, this thing is in the middle of nowhere and we are collecting data from it via the FX5U PLC. So what do you need? You need the FX5U PLC. You will need an SD card, GXWorks 3 engineering software, and the logging configuration tool. Now the logging configuration tool is, like I said earlier, is built into the GXWorks 3, so it's not something that you need to purchase extra anyways. So if we have a look at the FX5U PLC, the one that I used for my example was the FX5U 32 MRES, and you have to use firmware version 1.050 or later. It is not supported in earlier firmware versions. Okay. And of course, SD card. I hope you guys know what an SD card looks like. You can use a small SD card, one of those micro SD cards, but I wouldn't recommend that. That's if you have one of these SD card converters, then you can use that, but I wouldn't recommend. Rather just get a proper SD card from the start. Okay. So programming software, GXWorks 3. Use version 1.030G or later. I think the latest version is 1.061 if I'm not mistaken. So if you download it from the website and you have your license sorted, you won't have any problem using this configuration tool. Okay. So let's look at how we do the actual setup. First of all, we're going to use you're going to go to the tool menu bar on top, and you're going to click on that, and once you've done that, it will open up the tool menu, and underneath your tool menu you'll open the logging configuration tool. Once you've done that, you'll see the little splash screen. The latest version is 1.94Y. okay. And once you've seen the splash screen, it will go over to this screen, and this is your basic setup screen. Okay, very simple, very easy. Let me show you why. So as you go into the configuration tool, you click on data logging setting, and then followed by the edit button. Now the edit button will open the next page for you. This is where you start telling your device when it should start logging for you. So continuous logging, I prefer to use that. It's easier to use. Trigger logging can be tricky if you want to only log on certain bits coming on, for example. So once you start up the PLC and you say continuous logging, it will start logging from the get-go. Okay. Next, we're going to look at the time specification. Like I said earlier, there's a scanning cycle that you can. So every time there's a scanning cycle, it will log the value. The time specification, by default, it's set at 10 milliseconds. You can obviously change that to seconds. I think you can change it to hours as well if you really want to do it in an hour, and minutes too. Okay. And then condition specification. That's if something is on, then start logging for me. So what I did over here is here's your data page. This is where you actually set up the registers that you want to monitor at the end of the day. So you can add up to 128 devices. Okay. So for this example, I'm only monitoring 10 devices, but I can go all the way down to 128. Okay. And then you say next. Now you go to the binary output page. The binary output page, this is where you tell it where you want to save, how you want to save your file. Okay. The save page is telling you how many records you actually want to save. So you can choose to, at the bottom right corner, you can choose to either save a number of records, or you can choose to save a file size. If you save 65,500 records, it basically comes to around 3 megs. It's a very, very, very small file. And then what it does is every time you come to the last file, it will start deleting the file at first, the first. So in other words, if you come to the end, it will start deleting file 1, and then 2, then 3, and then 4, and so forth, and so it will carry on. Okay. Movement, this is basically when you want it to start. Okay, auto start, that means that when the PLC starts, when it's in run mode, it will automatically start logging for you. Or you start by user operation, you can basically tell it inside the program parameters that you want it to start only now at this specific minute. Okay. And then at the end, what I do is you give it a quick name, and you say complete, and it's done. And now, as you always do, you always save your configuration file, and then after you've saved it, you want to transfer it to the PLC. So you go to your online menu and go to transfer setup, and then once there, normally if you guys have worked with the GXWorks 3 before, you'll know that it kind of sorts out your comms automatically for you in a way. So you go to direct connection. So that, in other words, that's if your PC is connected with a Ethernet cable straight into your PLC. And then you say communication test, and if all goes well, you should have a successfully connected with the FX5 PLC. Okay, that's if all goes well. And then once you've done that, you can go to the right logging setting, and then it will actually start writing the log setting to the device. And you can select there what you want to do. So what you can do is target area, it's either data memory or the SD card. So you can either save your data to the data memory, which is the memory on the PLC itself, or to the SD card. Okay. And then once you've done it, you should get this beautiful page up over here. Okay. So thanks guys, that's all I have to talk to you guys now about a presentation. I'll just quickly show you how I actually did it. And when I say how I did it, is actually how quick and easy it is to set up. So as I go there, I'll show you. I go to the tool, and I go to logging configuration tool, brings up that page for you, and that's your normal page. So click on logging setting, and I say edit. And once I've said edit, will give us that continuous. So I just say next because I wanted to continuously log for me. Sampling, I wanted to log every 10 milliseconds, and then this is where I actually add my data. So D0, D1, all the way down to D9 at the end of the day, because this is what I want to log. If you want to log M values, then you can do that as well. Like I showed earlier, you can log quite a few devices. I always say next over here too. And what I changed over here was just at the bottom right, my number of records. I want 65,000 records. And once I've done that, I go next again. And I want it to start as soon as I'm done, as I start the PLC and I'm complete. Okay. So from there now, I want to download the program. So go online, transfer setup, do a quick connection test. I'm connected, which is always good news, and okay. And then I go and I write to my PLC. It takes a few seconds, normally quite quick, and then there you go. We are transferring it now to the PLC. And it should be done. There you go. Now it's done. Awesome stuff. And of course, save your file. Always save your file. I saved this one previously. I'm just going to overwrite it, and there it's done. Cool, that took me exactly 2 minutes to do. The video is 2 minutes long. It's really, really quick and easy. Very quick and easy. So if you guys have any questions, ask me now quickly. Let's have a look. Stuart, there is a way to view the log. There's a whole log viewer tool. Freddie will organize a video for you guys and he will show you how the log viewer works. It's quite a long process as well. It's not that complicated, but he will sort that out for you. He will actually upload a video within the next 2 or 3 days on show you guys how to do that. As it says it to a bin file, you can actually take that, if I'm not mistaken, and make it a CSV file so that it's maybe more recognizable for you at the end of the day. So yeah, any more questions, guys? If you guys have more questions, just feel free to email me, or you can actually give me a call, send me a WhatsApp or whatever, and I'll be able to help you guys out. Oh, the firmware upgrade. Oh boy, the firmware upgrade is another story on its own. You actually have to, you actually do it from the SD card. And you basically, you load the file onto the SD card, you plug it into the PLC, you turn it off and you turn it on again, and then the whole process starts. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to do. I will actually do a video for you guys later on how to do the firmware upgrade. It's a fairly easy process, but if you don't know how to do it, then it can become a problem. If you want to know what the latest firmware version is, you can always go to the Mitsubishi electric site. If you need a link to the site, I will be able to give you. I will give you the link to the site. Okay, all the latest firmware is on there, and you can download it for free. You don't have to worry about paying for it. Any more questions, guys? Alright, if that's no more questions, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. If you liked our video, please like, subscribe to our page, and of course you can click on the bell icon, which will let you know that every time we upload a video that we will send you a notification. We will still be doing these pretty much every day. I think our next one's next Tuesday, where Freddie will be talking about GXWorks 3 with you guys, and he will be able to help you with that. Okay, guys. So I'm just checking if there are any more questions. So 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning, Freddie will be with you guys again. And he will hopefully teach you guys a lot of cool stuff. And also we have more videos coming on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday next week again as well. Some more Adroit, more Mitsubishi stuff. And yeah, we'll keep you guys informed moving forward from there as well. Okay guys, thank you very much for your time. Have a lucky day. Please keep safe during these trying times, and have a good one. Thank you.